Hi Lincoln Charter School students, it's Mrs. Peterson here. Today we are going to be making a sculpture of a snail. A sculpture is art that stands up. So we're going to make a snail out of Model Magic that we're going to color with marker, and then it's going to be sitting on top of a leaf. So this is going to be our sculpture, art that stands up. Let's get started. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a whole bunch of supplies. So you're going to get this piece of paper, which is just going to be somewhere for us to work. This will get thrown away. You're going to get a leaf that has cardboard on one side and a leaf on the other side. You're going to get a green crayon, and you're going to get a couple of different markers. No, you do not get to pick your marker colors today. I will just be giving you 3. And then the last thing you're going to get is you're going to get Model Magic, which is a type of clay made by Crayola. Now, some of you might be getting it in the pack like this. Some of you might just be getting your clay completely white. So when you get your clay, you're just going to take your clay out of the package. And the first thing you need to do is we need to tear our clay. So we're going to take off a smaller piece, and then we'll also have a little bit bigger piece. So maybe if I was doing fractions, 1/3 is small and 2/3 is big. This is going to be for the shell and for the snail itself. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our leaf. So I'm going to take all this stuff out of the way so we can focus on our leaf. Now on the side that has cardboard on it, I'm going to write my name. And you do not have to put your room number today, you just need to write your name. And then I'm gonna flip it back over. So there's my name, and I'm flipping this over. And now I'm ready to make some lines on my leaf. To do that, I'm gonna start at the bottom, the 1 point, and go all the way up to the top. And then I'm just going to do some diagonal lines on either side of my leaf. And notice I go pretty much all the way to the end of the leaf. So I did one side, and now I'll go in and I'll do the other side of my leaf. Okay, so that's step 1, and that's all finished. Now we can go back. I'm going to put this aside, and I can go back to my clay that I already have divided up. Now for my clay, I need to add color to it because right now it's all white. So out of the 3 markers that you have, you need to pick 2 colors for the big piece of clay and 1 color for the body of your snail. It doesn't matter what colors you pick, just 2 for the big piece and 1 for the small piece. The next thing I need to do is color my clay. This is why I gave you a piece of paper to cover your table today. So I'm just going to press it down a little bit, and I'm going to color my clay with 1 color, just drawing on top of it with the marker. So I decided to use this dark red raspberry color. And I'm just going to color the whole side. Then, and make sure you hear the click when you close the marker, then I'm going to fold that in half. I'm going to smush it down a second time, and I'm going to pick my next color. So I picked the orange, and I'm going to color my whole piece of clay as much as I can. It's not going to be all covered with the orange or whatever color you picked. So I did 2 colors on that piece. For my next small piece, I'm going to use my last marker. So I'm just going to flatten it out a little bit, and I'm going to color that piece of clay with my marker. And once again, I'm trying to cover the whole side as much as I can. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but just cover what you can. Now I'm finished with the markers. I can put these off to the side. For this project, we need to roll what is called a coil. A coil is a long, skinny piece of clay. I'm going to start off by making this shell for my snail. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, put it to the side. I'm going to take this piece of clay. I'm just kind of going to mix it up just a little bit in my hands, not a whole lot. So the colors start to swirl around a little bit. But I'm not mixing it up too much. And you can see this is why we covered our table, because the color comes off the clay and onto the table. So now I have my colors mixed up a little bit. Here I want to twist them a little bit. See how it's kind of like a tie-dye effect? Turned out pretty cool. And now I'm ready to roll my coil, which is a long, thin, round piece of clay. To do that, I'm gonna take my hands like this, and I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna start in the middle, and as I go out, it's going to get a little bit longer. And you see how I have the colors swirling around my snail shell? That's exactly what I'm looking for. If you mess up and your coil gets too long, you can always just mix it up again, and you can roll it out again. I think I'll roll it one more time. So I take my hands, they're nice and flat. I'm starting in the middle, and I will go out pretty much until I get to the end of my paper. I don't want to go off of my paper. That looks pretty good like that. I love how this looks kind of tie-dye or marbled. Then I'm going to take one end and I'm going to start to roll it up. Roll, roll, roll. Wow, look at this shell. This is looking cool. Roll, 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 all the way around. And then I have a finished snail shell. That's all good to go. I'm not gonna flatten it out. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now I'm ready to make the body of my snail. So I'm gonna take this other piece that's been sitting off to the side. This needs mixed up better than that was. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna mix it in my hands. And yes, your hands will get dirty, you will survive. I'm gonna mix it up in my hands and mix it until my clay starts to turn one color. This clay is going to turn a light purple color, which is what I wanted. And if you think it's not quite dark enough, you can always go back in with your marker and color on top with your marker again to get a little bit more color on it. That's why I love Crayola Model Magic, because you can color on it. It's the only type of clay that you can color with a marker, which is so much fun. So now I have this as mixed up as I would like it to be. That looks pretty good. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this out, but not quite as long. So I'm going to start again, starting in the middle, and I'm rolling it out. And right there looks like a pretty good size for my snail body. So I have my snail shell and I have the body for my snail. Now I'm ready to put it together. Before I do that, let me just show you the finished snail again. So you can see how the shell goes and then the body kind of curves around like this. So I'm gonna take my shell, I'm gonna take my body, and they will get stuck together. I'm gonna press the body up and around, but it's gonna stay flat down here where the snail touches the ground. Now, at the top of my snail's head, I have to make those two little kind of antenna things that are on top of the snail's head. So I'm just gonna take my fingers, and it's a little tricky to see on the camera, and I'm just gonna pinch very, very gently two little antenna coming off of my snail's head. How cute. And then my snail is all finished, just like that. The last step I'm going to do for you. So when you have your snail made, please raise your hand, and then I will come over to you, and you'll have your leaf and you'll have your snail ready to go. And I will glue your snail right on top of your leaf. So I will do this, you will not be using the Elmer's glue. So you'll have glue on your snail and it will just sit right on top of your leaf. Now, your snail is not going to be dry right away. It is going to take some time to dry, especially that glue. So you're just gonna have to sit it on your desk for a little bit and let it dry. Oops, see, I didn't let that one dry enough. So you might have to hold it for a little bit in place and give it some time to dry. And when it's all dry, you can take it home. I can't wait to see the adorable snails that you will be making. I'll see you soon.